What makes a car a good car? Is it the price? Maintenance records? Owner count? Is it limited in production? Is it rare? Something that can be, I don't know, maintained easily or serviced easily? Is it flashy? Or is it just the daily, just understated and underrated? But what makes a car a good car? Now, we've spent quite a lot of time on this subject, and in reality, classifying something as a good car is merely perspective. It's very easy to ask a room full of people what a good car is and expect some very extraordinary answers. So that's where this car comes in. Introducing District Imports MK5 R32. So, what makes this MK5 a good car? Well, let's start at the heart of it. It's the 3.2-liter 24-valve VR6. So, the VR6 is one of those motors you either love or you hate. To the uninitiated, it's like the European version of Nissan's VQ35, but to Volkswagen fans, it's iconic. It's the Chewbacca motor. A sound so distinct, there's a whole event called Wookiees in the Woods to celebrate it. People don't just drive VR6s, they built a community around them. And the MK5's appeal doesn't really stop under the hood. The design, timeless. Smooth body lines, subtle accents, and those little R touches that hint at its exclusivity. The center exit exhaust, blue brake calipers, R badge seats, they let you know that this isn't just any Golf. But let's talk history. The MK5 R32 landed in the US during one of the worst economic disasters in recent memory. It was 2008, layoffs, foreclosures, stock markets in free fall, and here comes this $33,000 Volkswagen Golf. Adjusted for inflation, that's like $50K today. For most people back then, it wasn't just a car, it was an expensive toy, so yeah, the timing was rough. There's the comparison that everyone makes. It's not a MK4 R32. Sure, it's still got the 3.2-liter VR6, but the MK5 is more refined. It's matured, it's swapped the manual out for a DSG in the US, and the throttle wasn't just a switchy, it doesn't feel raw or aggressive like the MK4 did, but think of it like this. The MK4 was the rowdy undergrad who partied every weekend. The MK5? That's the same kid, just after a gap year and a master's degree. Still fun, but polished and is probably wearing like a sports blazer now. And honestly, that's not a bad thing. While the MK4 is remembered as a performance icon, the MK5 marked a turning point for Volkswagen. Mark Lichtke's design gave a nod to the past but brought in the finesse. It's comfortable, understated, and confident. A car that doesn't need to shout to get to your attention. The MK5 R32 is underrated, and the numbers prove it. Resale values? Still a bargain compared to what they offer. But the community support? Still thriving. Why? Because the MK5 grew up. It's powerful, but it doesn't need to flaunt it. The DSG is happily going to rev match around every corner or coast in traffic without breaking a sweat. The interior, it's still relevant today. It's not overloaded with tech, but it gives you just enough so you can focus on what really matters. Driving. Sure, it didn't get to shine like its older brother did, but that wasn't its own fault. The timing just wasn't right. But it's still every bit as deserving of the spotlight, and for us, it's a car worth celebrating. For everything it was, is, and will be. This MK5 R32, yeah, it's a good car.
MK5 is like a little bit more of a refined version.
Yeah.
So you had the MK4, and the MK4 is like raw.
Party time.
In its infancy.
Yep.
Like just metal, very simplistic, very, here it is.
Hey, look,
this
it's
is what
another
it
R.
is. And then you get to the MK5, and the MK5 is just a bit more grown up.
Yeah. I think this is undeserved. It didn't get the attention it deserved.
Didn't get the appreciation that it wanted.
Yeah.
And not only that, but the styling of these is still good. Like it's still, I think it's a great looking car. I prefer this body style to just about anything.
Oh, I don't know. about that.
It's an egg.
It's an egg. This car is it's a good egg.